Hello. Hi, welcome to Larisha Speaks. We're going to talk about the corruptions of the court, and I want to give my opinion on the Wendy Williams situation because today, Steve Wilkos was on the Breakfast Club, and they were talking about it, and he said some comments that I really didn't agree with, and I really want people to understand the nature of the beast and the situation at hand. This has everything to do with the corruption of the courts and the options that we as Black people have when dealing with the systematic racism as a whole. Because people tell you all the time, that you could do this or you could do that, or hold yourself accountable, or why didn't her family do this, or why didn't her family, and will prejudge you or make opinions based off of your actions, but not understanding what you did and what forced you to be in that situation. Now, from my understanding with the Wendy Williams story, and these are the facts as I know them. If I am misrepresenting or saying things that I'm not aware of, forgive me, put it in the comment section. But to my knowledge, I'm going to sum up the situation and why the actions that was taken and why the documentary was not only the best thing to do, the bravest thing to do, but I'm glad she did it. And honestly, I did my documentary for the same reason. And people want to tell you that you have to remain decorum and you have to be seen in a certain way, but they don't see what put you in a situation where you had no other choice. Now, in the William D. Williams situation, she was, talk show host Wendy Williams. I used to listen to her when I was a little kid. I used to call up her show all the time. I mean, I remember at 13, 14 years old listening to Wendy Williams. So when I tell you I love Wendy Williams, literally majored in communications because of her. I have one of her signed books in my bookcase. Like when I say I'm a Wendy fan, I'm a Wendy fan. Now, I didn't always agree with everything she did, but it's not my place. I'm a fan. And this is coming from a place of love, but it's coming from the fact that again, with both for us being Jersey girls, her family is from Elizabeth, I'm from Newark. It's a level of when you get in a Jersey girl, you get in a Jersey girl. You can't get mad at what you get, like how she would talk to certain guests. And I remember I was listening to her on the radio when I was in Missouri and people were saying, oh, she did that. No, it's right up in your face. That's how it is. Straight no chaser. She gonna give it to you. So her situation was basically she has um a alcohol issue. She's as an alcoholic. And in addition to that, she was having mental her mental capacity decrease. Before all of those things happened or while they were happening, when Wendy Williams got a divorce, Wendy Williams asked Wells Fargo for an accountant of her money, for an account of her money. I want to see my money. I want to know where it's at. The person who worked at Wells Fargo said, no, I think you're being, because I think you're being exploited. You, as a Black woman who earned every penny that you have, I don't think that you know what you're doing with your money. So I am going to go to the court and tell the court and fill this paperwork that you can't handle your own money. The audacity, the caucasity of that in general, and I don't understand for the life of me why every Black person everywhere in America is not closing down their bank accounts. Because if Wendy Williams was at this time worth $60 million, and the average, and we were five, I ain't even gonna say I'm worth 5,000. I ain't got it. The nerve of this person to make this decision saying what she can and cannot do with her own money. And for the critics or the people who were saying, oh, but they believe that she was being financially exploited. I know the bank that been financially exploiting Black people and literally had settlements for financially exploiting Black people, not talking about what somebody being financially exploited. I believe that was the Trojan horse. And what people have to understand about when people put things in paper, it doesn't have to be true. For her to think that she's being financially exploited. Wendy Williams, has taste, and Wendy Williams likes spending money. She spent $125,000 on her son's birthday party. He's 13 years old. She had uh, p- famous people being his dates and all kinds of stuff. So for the people to say that she had $1 million house when she was in Jersey. Lord knows how much money what her condo was. For somebody to even say that she's being financially exploited when this woman literally, Wendy, everybody knows Wendy like to find the things alike. So I really feel like that's an excuse that they give. And when somebody does something, all you have to do is come with an excuse. That doesn't mean it's true. Because somebody said, oh, she was being financially exploited. They were trying to help her. That's not how you help her. You were trying to control her, and that's the difference. So, with that being said, that was the first thing. The fact that this bank that's not even in a position who's ever shown that how have they ever shown in the black community period that they care about black people. The only thing that this company has done since its inception is target black folks and exploit black folks, but now they care so much. The company that was literally creating bank accounts in their customers and robbing their customers, now they care so much about this one individual, but they don't care about the whole race of people. So right then, there's a red flag. After Wendy asked for her money and asked for an accounting of her money from the person who was quote unquote on charge for 20 years, and this is the thing about these type of people who feel like they have control over, they really feel like that. They really feel like they have the audacity to control you because she was in this position for 20 years. I don't care how long you was in the position. If you the boundaries that was crossed again, if you are a person, if you are a black person, if your ancestors were slaves in this country, you should not have your money in Wells Fargo Bank, period. And if you do, that is up to you. Good luck to you. But if something happens, please don't ask people to come in and when we already see what they're doing. When somebody tell you who they are, believe them. And we already know what Wells Fargo was doing from the how many different settlements they had already before they exploiting and are robbing Wendy blind. So let's go with the first thing. She asked for her money, which she said. Then the person at the bank went to the court and said that she's not able to take care of herself. Fine. When the court got involved, they went to her family. Wendy Williams' older sister, I believe they're 12 years apart. They are a great number of years apart, is an attorney. The courts asked her to if she wanted to be a guardianship. She was like, no problem. I don't know how to do it. I'm not this type of attorney. Remember, you have all types of she could have been a real estate attorney. I'm not sure what her expertise is, but a lot of times people don't understand about law. Civil and criminal is one thing, real estate law. Then you have business attorneys. Then you have children, family attorneys, family law. It's all different types of attorneys. So just because you went to law school and got a degree, don't know everything about everything. So she agreed to that. The court agreed. Then the court blocked it. And I'm gonna let you know something about the court. Again, I worked for there for 9 years. The court wants the family, well, in my case, you see the court order. The court acts as though they want the family involved because the court know that they will have to take on that burden. So why would we want to take on the burden to case manage somebody or to make sure that somebody is doing what they're supposed to be doing if they have a family member that's capable and willing to do it? That's how you know that this case is a clear example of the corruptions of the court. Because even when it comes to a lot of family and civil service issues, even criminal. You want who is involved in the family? Who can you go to? Who can you stay with? Who can help? Because the court know the burden is going to be on them. But what I don't really think people realize about the court is that the court gets a fee for financing your case. I was talking to one of the people in my community about her divorce, and I was telling her again, I tell everybody about my situation, so I'm telling her how the courts is corrupt. And as a person who got a divorce, she had to pay $2,500 for the case management of her divorce. And this is a person who is in over 60, disabled, having to pay the court. And people don't understand that they really pay for the court. Literally, when you get a parking ticket or you get a ticket and you go to court and the ticket is dismissed, you still have a court fee. There's a fee associated with the case management of this case. And the more money you have, guess what? The more that fee gonna be. So of course the court is going to say, no, we'll appoint somebody to oversee her money because we're going to get a portion of her money. In addition to that, they appointed someone, and I'm not even going to talk about the fact that this person was allegedly being sued for $30 million for stealing his money from somebody else. But this person donated to the judge over the case's campaign. Can you say conflict of interest? Does this sound familiar about how the courts be overstepping bounds, and why do we, as we the people, do not raise up against these type of situations? But oh, it's just we let them get away with abusing us, and that's an issue that I have. And this is why I think the family's decision to do the documentary was smart, was excellent decision. So you have the court appointing a guardian over her money, and the attorney over Wendy Williams' money donates to the judge's campaign. He has a financial interest in making sure that this person who donates to him have money to donate. Do y'all understand that the guardian is being paid by Wendy Williams to dictate her money? Her sister, even if her sister says she don't care about the money, she want to be able to have access and contact with their sibling. Their 93-year-old father was in the hospital, and they didn't even know where Wendy was and had contact. This is not okay. So with Wendy Williams being a producer of this documentary, Lifetime not knowing that Wendy had the issues that she had, it was good that they saw it unscripted and they were made aware of it. But if they became aware of it and didn't release it, then what? Then they're covering it up as well. Because you see somebody being exploited and being abused, and you're aware of it, your cameras are aware of it, camera crews and everybody in this company, but then you hide it. Oh, we can't release that because no, release the tape. And that's another thing that is so important about this whole situation, where people saying Wendy wasn't the one to be seen like that. I'm not gonna say she wasn't the one to be seen like that. But I know I'm 100% sure she wouldn't want her money stolen. I can guarantee you, I can tell you that. She didn't want some people who do not look like her, who the fact that her son was put out of her housing. Do people understand what the woman had to do in order to give birth? And the struggle and fight she did for her son, and for him not to being able to be financially cared for when everything she did was, I'm pretty sure she wouldn't have wanted that. So when we talk about what she wouldn't have wanted about a wig when her son can't even be cared for, I think people priorities is messed up, and people not understanding what it's like to be exploited by your own government. For the government to step in and tell her what she can or cannot do with her money, to the point where her childhood friend was doing interviews about how they had to Uber and send Wendy food, which is her basics, which is, what's the point of having a guardian if the guardian not even making sure that you eating food? And that's why I'm so glad that this documentary was done. When you push somebody back up into the wall, Wendy didn't have a show. Wendy didn't have access to none of her media. Her YouTube channel, but she could have still been getting money from that. Literally, the Guardian, allegedly, the Guardian went to the court and said, we don't want this documentary released because we don't want Wendy to get money. And that's where it raised the flag. Like, wait a minute. When you're a guardian for somebody, for you to say that you don't want person to earn money, it was suspicious. And it wasn't the fact that this person didn't want Wendy to earn money, because of they getting paid every time she earned money. You don't want people to know what's going on with this situation. And I am thankful that she had the fortitude, even with her mental state, and to release the documentary. It's very, very important that this documentary was out here. So you can see the people that she has around her. You can see what's going on with her. Because regardless of what her mental state is, that does not give the government a right to exploit her. When we talk about financial wealth, black wealth, generational wealth, when we talk about reparations, when we talk about all those things in the black community that you see are making headlines and getting attention, Wendy Williams, she busted her ass to get to where she was. And when people want to talk about, well, I don't think she want to be seen taking her wig off her head. I don't think she would want her son not to be cared for or not know where she was. And her son, and everybody's saying this about her son, that about her son, he's spending whatever. If you telling me this boy lived in $1 million house, $100,000 a year for food is nothing. Who is it for me to judge? Do you know the cost of food? A college kid, I don't think that's exploitive. When you look at breakfast, lunch, and dinner 7 days a week, and that's Wendy's child. If she wanted if $100,000 on a birthday party, she has a right to spend whatever she want to spend on her child. He has a right to spend the money that his mother busted her butt for him for. For the fact that you have these people saying what they think it is if y'all don't understand the line that is crossed in that situation, where they should not be telling us about anything that has to do with us, in addition to the fact that she has a sister who's an attorney who could have been her guardian. Why wouldn't the court want a family member to step in? Why would the court want to take on a responsibility of a person, making sure that you have shelter for this person, making sure that their daily needs? It's a big responsibility when you care for a person. Everyone who's had a family member in rehabilitation knows that. Why would the court say, you know what, as of New York, of all the courts, y'all ain't got nothing else y'all could be doing? Y'all ain't got no other cases that y'all could be worrying about, that this is a case that you know, no, let's not give it to her attorney sister. Let us handle it. Think about that for a minute. The corruption is mind blowing. The fact that people are not understanding this is mind blowing. The fact that this documentary was done, made it to TV, and the millions of people starting to see, wait a minute, and they want to look at this whole conservative. I told y'all the corruption of the courts is real. The corruption of the courts is real. It's always been BS. It has always, it's not like, oh, it's just that way in 2024. We understand, especially as people whose ancestors were slaves, slavery was legal. How black people was treated in this country was literally dictated. How we are treated today is literally dictated by the courts. We are literally disenfranchised by the judicial branch of government. That's going to be my next one. We're going to focus on how the judicial branch of government, from the Rudy to the Tootie, from the head to the bottom, that entire branch of government literally was literally created to control and exploit black people. And what it has figured out and what it has learned to do is call one thing another. Slavery is abolished. No one is not. It literally says in except slavery. It literally says that it's not abolished. But you go with this that it is. The drug laws. Everything about this one branch of government targets black people. That is the whole purpose of it. And when we look at it and we say, and we don't call a spade, that's how it controls us, because we don't call it what it is. We're not using the correct terms. We say reform, we say defund the police when the judges and the prosecutors are not charging them. And they really have laws made in place, and the laws for them are not being enforced. Who is not enforcing the laws against them? It's not the laws, because they keep saying, oh, we need an anti-black bill. And I don't agree with that anti-black. I believe in pro-black legislation. I don't need anything anti-black, because the wording is just, you're going to say against black, against black. I don't want nothing against black. But when you say I want an anti-black bill, that's what I want a against black bill. No, you want pro-black legislation for black. You want bills for black. So I want people to start using that terminology, because it's very, very important. You want an anti-hate bill against Asians. You don't want anti-Asian. You want an anti-hate bill against them. So when it's us, we don't want an anti-black. No, we want pro-black legislation. But I'm getting off my tangent talking about that. But in regards to her, it's very important to see in how the corruption of the court is controlling her wealth and making sure that she doesn't get it, and telling her what she can or cannot do, and not even providing the basics for her, because she has people around her who are getting paid and they're not caring for her, because she was able to get drunk with a manager and under the conservatorship. And then at the last minute before it was aired, oh, we want to stop this. Nah, homeboy, let it play. Let it air. And that is so important. So when people say, I hate that this was done to her, I hate that her family was trying to exploit her. No. What other choice did her family have? The courts shut her family out. They refused to contact her. The guardian had no contact with the family at all. The family couldn't even get in touch with Wendy Williams to let her know that her 93-year-old father was in the hospital. So what did you expect the family to do? And this is what I want people to understand about Black people and how everybody wants to control everything we do. We always have to be well behaved, even when we're being violated. We can be unalived in the street on camera, but fight, comply. Don't fight. Nothing you do is ever good enough, but nobody is complaining about how we were treated to put us in that situation. What kind of trauma, psychological trauma, you think her son is going through dealing with all this? Not being able to see his mother, losing the grandmother, parents divorce, all of this in a short period of time. But we're not focused on that, but we're saying, oh, he did this and he did that. We want to blame us for our actions and our reactions to constantly being traumatized, controlled, treated like we're less than human. For the court, for the New York State court to treat Wendy Williams the way that they are treating her when she has a able and capable family, and not just one family member, several family members who can take care of her. How dare you get in there and say what can and cannot happen with her money and what you think is happening? And that's why Black people need to get their money out of their banks. Because if they did it, Lord, listen, the Black people, if you keep your money in the bank, use a fool, especially in Wachovia, because they out of line, they out of pocket. So for the family, I commend them. I appreciate you. I thank you for doing whatever you had to do to bring attention to the abuse that your family member was going through. And no, it was not pretty. No, but the abuse that she's going through, that ain't pretty either. Her not seeing her step, that ain't pretty either. Her not seeing, you know what I mean, seeing her father and him being in the hospital, or them not knowing where she at, all of that's not pretty. So when we want to talk about what ain't pretty and what's not pretty, she should have never been in the situation she was in. So I appreciate them for doing the documentary. I'm thankful they did the documentary. Hopefully that saves Wendy Williams' life and some of her money, because you can't sit here and tell me that they not doing this for her money when they doing it for her money. And all the money that as a Black woman she worked for by herself, going to the radio stations, moving to the Virgin Islands, working in DC, driving to New York, going to Philadelphia after she got fired and blackballed, coming back, getting a TV show and on her radio station. And now y'all gonna tell her that y'all gonna control her. The nerve, the caucasity of it all, the nerve, the nerve. I'm really trying to be nice. So I just wanted to bring that up. And then when you had people talking about it and giving their opinion about it, it really irks me. I don't think people of a race that is not that race should not be giving their opinion. And I'm gonna say this, and I stand on it. I don't think my ancestors were slaves. I'm a freedman. Nobody should give their opinion on freemen but freemen, period. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you're talking about. They got these culture vultures and wannabe whatever talking about Black people business for $1. I'm not even going to respect him enough to say his name, because I don't. In the most disrespectful way, I cannot stand him. His name starts with a V. He gets sellouts on his show to disrespect and talk about Black people continuously, and he paid some of the money to come. I believe Boosie said he gets $500,000, $1 million every time he go on his show. That's why he always do his show, to talk about different topics and different things. So this person is paying Boosie 500,000. Boosie could get his own channel and make more than that. Like, people got to start waking up. You're letting people violate you or use you to get profit from you, so you could talk about your people, when you could get your own platform, get your own money yourself, but you want to give you money. So I am, mind your business. Y'all shouldn't speak on Black people business at all. And when y'all speak on it, y'all act as though we're in the situation we're in. Wendy Williams is in the situation she's in because of those people who stole her money, stole her account, and dictating everything she do. But then they want to give an opinion about her being in that situation. The caucasity, the caucasity is real. It doesn't even make sense to me. So we really have to be mindful of when we hearing these people who have the platforms. Steve Wilkos had his show for 17 years. People looked at him and think, oh, well, maybe I agree. Well, maybe the family. No. The family had to do whatever they had to do to save their family. And they sit there and judge us when we do stuff when we're desperate to try to bring attention to a situation. But if we wasn't violated in every aspect of America, we wouldn't have to do such drastic measures. Drastic times call for drastic measures. I did a documentary on my case. I did a book on my case. I started this YouTube channel on my case because I am being violated. My mentally ill nephew is being violated in prison as we speak because of my lawsuit. I am desperate. I am going out of my way to try to bring attention to it. And then when I do that, to be judged, oh, well, you did what? All the trauma that this family has been through, we're not going to judge that. We're not going to talk about the people, the systems, the courts, the guardian who put the family in this traumatic experience. And God forbid, her son is only 20 something years old. For him to have to go through this at 22, 23 years old, the trauma of not, and his father and his mother already broke up. His mother health is declining. His grandmother passing away, and him not seeing his mother, not knowing where she is. We're not going to talk about that's not wrong. Wendy Williams wouldn't want her wig, but she would want that. It make sense because it doesn't. Not at all. Not at all. So I really don't like it when people get judged about doing things that whatever they got to do to bring attention to what's happening with her. I'm with it because I'm the same one who listen. I'm with it. Whatever they got to do, I appreciate them. I thank him for bringing attention to the mass media, documentary, book, whatever they got to do to bring attention to the abuse that she's suffering. And let's talk about the people who are abusing her. Let's talk about this guardian. How she get a pass, but the 22-year-old child don't. How the judge get a pass when the guardian is paying the judge for reelection? How that's not an issue, but the son and the sister and not being able to see her sister, not being able to see her aunt, the nephew, yeah, they the issue. No, no, always bet on black. I appreciate whatever they did. We got to really start understanding that this entire branch of government goes out and targets black people systematically, from the judge to the laws to the prosecutor. The police is the man on the totem pole. When you hear them say defund the police, that don't mean nothing, because even if you defund them, and now they shipping people in, so the crime rate can go up. So now we can need them, but the judges are not trying them, because you see the migrants in New York is kicking their butt every which way. I ain't heard not one of them get hurt. Rest in peace to Sean Bell and Everett Gardner and DJ Henry in New York, because they were senselessly unalived for absolutely nothing. But everybody else just squaring up with the police, and it's cool. They getting tased. I guess we figured that they could do something else. But I'm getting off on a tangent. I'm getting emotional, so I'm about to fold my chair and dock my boat, and I'll come back soon with another episode. But in this one, I really did want to address that, because it's very, very important that when we look at this Wendy Williams, this is deeper than Nino Brown. This is very, very deep. It is not just, oh, the family wanted to exploit her. No, the family was desperate to bring attention to the abuse that she's suffering at the hands of New York State courts and the guardianship system by any means necessary. Larisha speaks.